Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. So, before we get into anything, I have to ask that you subscribe. You see, we're at a close race with someone who is one subscriber ahead of me currently. And if you subscribe, you could narrow the gap. We also want to hit the massive goal of X plus one subscribers. So, subscribing can help you out with that. Plus, as you can see, my content is high quality, and it's wonderful. But I was suggested this by a loyal viewer of the channel, and a member, which is why you should become a member. This is all just fucking ads, but that wasn't within the first 7 seconds, Susan. But I was suggested this by a member because I clown on TPC a lot. The political chatter, one of the dumbest YouTubers to ever exist. A Jon Stewart fan who used to support Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. Thought Dean would win New Hampshire when Biden won that state by 60 or maybe 40, actually, to be charitable. It was closer to 40%. It was closer to Wyoming. Um, Good job with that, TPC. It's virtually the same as saying Wyoming went Democrat. But yeah, he thought Dean would win New Hampshire. He chose Dean over Dunya. Um, then he became a independent, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. I'm recalling this from the TPC lore. I was a bit preoccupied in May of 2024. If you know, you know. But then he decided money was great and relevance was great, so then he just clickbaited for a month that Kamala Harris would win a landslide, and he ended up with egg on his face. Now his channel is dead. Hallelujah! But I've always said that he was the worst forecaster because, well, to my knowledge, he was. Today my world has gotten so much darker. I've lost sleep over this. I see this forecast standing in the corner of my room when I turn the lights off. It haunts me. It's stuck in my head. Every crevice in my skull it has leaked through. It has poisoned my mind. And that is a race to the White House. Now, I remember this from back when I used to discuss politics with my school. Not a good idea, by the way, in case you're thinking of doing that. I was kindly lectured by someone who harbors illegal immigrants in his home that RCP was actually rigged and fake, um, and a bad aggregate, when it underestimated uh, Donald Trump. But it was rigged and fake and was going to overestimate Trump by a bunch, and that 538 and Race to the White House were two great aggregates. Now, I thought that this was an aggregate, and they have some polling, but they also have a modeling service. Though it's not really a service because what the fuck is this map? Now, there's some okay things. There's some weird things here, like North Carolina's R plus 1.30, Michigan was D plus 1.40, uh, D plus 1.40 there. Why was Michigan more lopsided than North Carolina? I'm not sure. Nevada was Democrat, though a lot of people got that wrong after Ralston. I mean, this is a polling aggregator. I had Arizona close because I didn't think it would shift that Republican. I've got egg on my face for that. Though I think I've admitted that I was wrong for that already. That's a quirk of my forecast. I just don't listen to the consensus. So the consensus was right. Wow. I was wrong. I was right everywhere else, but I was wrong there. But they were a polling aggregator, and they still had it as less than R plus two, and we'll see later that they rely heavily on the polling. They didn't even get the Wisconsin votes to the right of Michigan or votes to the left of Michigan thing, so can't give them points for that. And then Iowa was uh, less than Trump plus four. Florida was Trump plus seven. To put that in perspective, virtually in between Iowa, which ended up R plus 12.5, And Florida, which ended up R plus 13, is New Hampshire, which was D plus 2.5. That's the same margin as these two states. But what I didn't realize is that this was the better of their forecast. Oh, also, this is just kind of funny. I think they actually had Minnesota shifting to the left of the cycle. Virginia, they fell for the Virginia hype, it seems. And New Jersey, they also had shifting left. Congrats. Oh, they had New York shifting right. Wow, you can see like where they hard coded in a swing. Like, oh no, New York must swing right. We can't be completely delusional with our forecast. Oh, Nevada must be a pure toss up. Like, uh, that's why I don't use any modeling, because at the end of the day, it's just one guy behind the screen typing in the numbers. You see this with a lot of the Canadian models as well, which are more useful because I don't exactly know every seat. Um, they are redistricted, but like at the end of the day, it's a guy who's like, "Oh, the NDP should go up in 10 seats." Boop, 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 boop. There, the NDP is leading in 10 more seats than before. Like it, it's really not a model. But this was not their worst model, because having the presidential election was widely regarded as a toss-up. It wasn't. Kind of obviously wasn't. I don't know why the consensus was that it was a toss-up. Ooh, you're getting a preview here. But I don't know why the consensus was that it was a toss-up, but that was the consensus, and they went with the consensus. Oh, okay, that's bad. But they also had this. Democrats, first of all, have a 28% chance of holding the Senate. What? The tipping point state was rated as lean Republican by Cook Political Report, which isn't exactly the most Republican favorable service. Um, yeah, Texas and Virginia were virtually the same margin. One was rated as safe Democrat. One was rated as lean Republican. Uh, Ohio is twice the margin, actually three times the margin of Nevada, twice the margin of Arizona. One was rated as a toss-up. The other was rated as lean Democrat. And then I don't know why the fuck Maryland is in here. I get that Maryland was overhyped, but like it's Maryland. The good thing is nothing gets past race to the White House. They were pretty spot on there. And Hogan widely underperformed expectations. Uh, they weren't really spot on anywhere else. First of all, Brown has a 61% chance to hold on. Sherrod Brown, who lost by over 3%, had a 61% chance to hold on. Which, by the way, is nearly better than he's 71% chance. He was supposed to win by less than four. Like I accidentally spoiled that, but Sheehy was supposed to win by the same margin that Bernie Moreno won by. Makes sense when the polling aggregate was much more Republican than Sheehy plus 3.7. In fact, I'd say Sheehy underperformed expectations, or John Tester overperformed. I really don't think it was Sheehy's fault. I think John Tester was just a little bit stronger than we thought. But like the way the election was going, I was surprised that it was that close. And actually, on election night, I was worrying because I was like, "Wait, these results are not good. This is going to be a close race," and it was closer than it really should have been. Um, I still don't think she was the greatest candidate. I like him as a senator, but he's still not that good of a candidate. Um, but it was not this. They nailed Nebraska. Actually, they didn't. They somehow overestimated Osborne. Makes sense. They had Texas as Cruz plus 4.4. What? 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 What are you smoking? What? I don't even. They they had Texas like. I think they actually underestimated the tickets. But like Cruz was always going to win by a likely margin. What? They had Arizona's Gallego plus 6.6. Makes sense. This is funny. Rosen plus 7.5. Genius. That was a D plus 1.6 race. Virginia, they overestimated Kane. Florida was under 5, supposedly. I'm not seeing it, but I guess Race to the White House knows more than me. Uh, Pennsylvania, remember Pennsylvania? Oh my God, Bob Casey denies the election. I almost made a parody song about that. If you guys want to see a parody version for Bob Casey losing, I don't know, donate to the poll. But yeah, Slotkin won by point 0.3. Yeah, is winning by 4.6 here. Uh, Also, Baldwin's winning by 4.6. I don't understand why one is lean D and one is likely D. And Havdi has a 20% chance, while Rogers has a 12% chance when they're both the same fucking margin. But they know much more than me. The race to the White House is genius. Kim plus 19. Yeah, that race was under 10%. But it's going to be Kim plus 19. He's going to outrun Joe Biden somehow. I get that Bashaw wasn't the best nominee, and that Kim was pretty good, but like, what? But what I think you fail to realize is that that's just the 2024 forecast, and that's not why we're here. We're here for this. Now, remember 28.4% chances of Democrats winning a Senate majority because, whoa, isn't it weird like that? Yeah, they have a 2026 Senate forecast. Now, I made the joke about Democrats. Also, I don't understand why this was updated today. You have no Senate polling. Why are you updating this? Um, but the joke of like, Democrats are repeating the same mistakes as 2024. It's the same forecast. They like copy and pasted it. I don't I don't get this, but this map is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Now we have some highlights like Montana Democrats have a 10% chance of winning, Kansas 15% chance. That's the same as Iowa. That makes so much sense. Nebraska Osborne has an 11% chance. Uh, okay. Kyle Sweister can pull it off, guys. Um, Michigan actually is pretty good. I'd say those chances are good. Not McMorrow plus 6, but it's like if your child holds like gives you an artwork from their preschool, like it can be flawed, but like it has the general idea of like loving care put into it. You can appreciate it for that. A general idea out of Michigan. Well, it looks like the directors of Race to the White House are trying to assassinate me because right after that I broke into a coughing fit. I'm not sick anymore, but I'm getting better. We defy expectations, but somehow Flanagan is winning by a safe margin in Minnesota. She is hated, but she'll win by a safe margin. Um, and then we get to the fun ones. Pappas is winning by nearly 10. I could potentially see that if Republicans don't run someone good, but Scott Brown is a good candidate. He's not losing by 10. But what do they know, or what do I know? Not they. They know everything. What do I know? I was only spot on in the Senate in 2024. Um, we got Maine, an incumbent senator, mostly beloved on her state. Not really beloved, but like among the moderates, she needs to win. Approved of decently. Losing by 7.2. Uh, Kamala Harris won the state by 6.9. Susan Collins is underperforming Donald Trump in this forecast. Makes we also have out of some other states some interesting results. Alaska's tilt Republican. Dan Sullivan, who won by 10 against one of these fake independents that they run in Nebraska and they run in Kansas, and they run in Utah. Uh, uh, he won by 10 against them, but he's going to do worse now against a Democrat. It makes sense. He's a massive performer, beloved. Um, he'll underrun Trump by 6, obviously. John Cornyn is winning by 6.5%. Now he could get primaried. He will get primaried, but if he gets primaried, I could see it being that close potentially. Probably not, but still potentially. But if John Cornyn is the nominee, he's not winning by only 6.5%. What? Democrats do not have a 24% chance of taking down an incumbent John Cornyn? Is this controversial? And Texas is Lean R. Same thing with Florida. A Trump plus 14 state with this map, this completely deafening map of Democrats losing some of the only big counties that they had to their names: Williamson, Tarrant, Hidalgo, Webb, nearly Fort Bend, and Harris County and Hayes County. Somehow that's going to revert to basically the 2020 margin. Makes sense. And that's lean R. Same thing with Minnesota. Trump plus 14 state will vote the same as a Harris plus 4 state. Makes sense. Makes complete sense. But I think we have some fun ones here. North Carolina, Cooper's winning by 2 there. I think that makes sense. It's a bit premature. Um, but it just completely stands out when like you have an incumbent senator losing by 7. And then the two stupidest things here. Ohio is a toss up. R plus 3.3. John Husted is a massive overperformer, and it's a Trump plus 11 state. Explain to me how this is close. Oh, but sure, bro, he's shown no there's nothing to say he'll run besides, oh, if he ran, he'd make it close. Therefore, he has to run because I wouldn't be able to cope without him. Like, oh, what? And then this. What the fuck? Not even gonna cut that out because that's visceral reaction to it. Like, what? What? Ossoff winning by 6. But if he were against a general Republican, okay, you can hide behind. Oh, but that's what the polling says against Brian Kemp. What? That's not what the polling says whatsoever. Brian Kemp is the nominee. He's winning in every poll. What are you on? And then I'm sorry, Montana is closer than Virginia. A Trump plus 20 state is closer than a Harris plus 6 state in the Senate. I get blue wave, but like, one, you can't presume that. Two, what? So the, I I don't even think TPC has a forecast this bad. You don't have Democrats potentially winning like 50 seats, 51 seats. Like, what is this shit? But I guess they know something I don't. But yeah, genius. I love the targets by party map. How Florida, Texas, and Alaska are targets by party, but somehow Virginia, New Jersey, and New Mexico are not. These are Harris plus 6 states. This is a Trump plus 14 state. They are not the same. And I get like, oh, it's hard to win in a bad midterm for Republicans, but like if you're gonna go around and include New Hampshire, and Minnesota in it, include these two. Like this makes no sense. This is the dumbest forecast I've ever seen. And like, it's John Cornyn. What? Are you drunk? Like, I could get it if Ken Paxton were presumed to be the nominee, or in Georgia, um, if you presume that Kemp would be the nominee, or in New Hampshire, if you presume that a random no name would be the nominee, or in Maine, if you presume that Gary Goldman would be the nominee, or in Minnesota, if you presume that anyone not named Peggy Flanagan would be the nominee, but you don't, and you still have such a dumb forecast. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Donate to the poll. Uh, we're gonna prove this wrong. We're gonna prove Booker plus 16. That's better than Biden did. Wow. I wonder where I've seen that before. But we're gonna prove this wrong. Everyone's gonna laugh, point and laugh. Bye bye. Subscribe, like, comment down below, share with your friends. I I'm sorry for the coughing part. It's worse for me because I actually broke into coughing fits between the takes of this video. And there's an entire take before this that you didn't see, which was better. But my mic wasn't working, so my apologies for that. It's late. Ignore me yawning. I'm doing that so that I don't cough. Because this has not been a good week. I've been sick like a dog. Thank you for the support that I've been shown. Yeah. Godspeed. Tester's done out.